I'm so excited to have the pleasure to speak with you. We're getting to
Thank
Earp
you.
again. We love the classic Wynonna series, but Vengeance kind of kicks things up a notch in its verse, and wanted to ask kind of how you really structured the movie as opposed to the series that we love so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was a gift and a journey on the Terror Train, just shouting at another Tubi movie, Terror Train. Because, like, listen, I really had the privilege of giving this series an ending, right? And furthermore, it was an ending that the fans were satisfied with. They were happy with it, which is like very, very rare in television.
A
So
happy
when
ending, like
a happy
in
ending,
all
yes,
capacities too,
literally, right
for
off into the
representation.
sunset. Yes. So I was delighted when Tubi said, look, we want to do more, but we really want to make sure we know the hardcore Earpers are going to show up, but we would like to do not exactly a reboot, but we just want the Earpers' uncle and their stepdad and their cats to be able to show up and understand what's happening. That this is just a demon hunting cowgirl who's the least likely heroine you've ever met, and her posse of dipshits fighting kind of the supernatural. And I was like, okay. So I knew I didn't want you to have sort of a spreadsheet of 4 seasons worth of mythology, right? There's a million Easter eggs and what have you, and all your characters are the beloved characters from the original series for the hardcore Earpers. But it really is a standalone story. So that helped me. The other thing, Lisa, that I think was really important was, first of all, I knew I didn't want to do it unless the entire core cast was in. Everybody's career are thriving. They've kind of all moved on, which they should because they're incredibly talented. So we kind of made like a deal where I was like, we're either all in or none of us are in. But because we all care so much about Earp and it moves me, everybody fought their schedule, found time to spend a month in Calgary in February, the sexiest, warmest time to be in Calgary, um, to do it. And that was amazing. The other thing, just to answer your question, that we did is I told the cast, like, I really want to tell the story of where we are now. Like, this is after the series. I'm not going to ask you to come on set and be something you're not or pretend to be 21 years old. Like, you don't have to fit into your leather pants if you don't want to. Yes, Tim has to grow a mustache, but try to stop him. Try to stop him. I was like, we could do a fake mustache. And he was like, shut your mouth. How dare you? So once I kind of wrapped my
Everything
head around,
authentic.
yeah, once I was like, this is a story that couldn't be told in 4 seasons of Earp. It really is about where they are now after Happily Ever After. It did become a little easier. So
Well, also, it wouldn't really be purgatory if the past was ever really behind everyone
dealt with,
either.
yeah, yeah, yeah. God forbid. Yeah, yeah. What more trauma? Yeah, yeah.
What does kind of being back mean for Winona specifically, our favorite sassy whiskey and donut enthusiast? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
you never really
Well,
can go home, but then she keeps going home.
she keeps going home. I mean, I think that you've really hit on something interesting, though. There's such a difference from where we see Wynonna in the pilot in season 1, where she's dragged home against her will for a funeral, which is like a place that judges her, that is a place of dread and family trauma and abuse, versus there's something about this Wynonna coming home in the special where, like, she's coming home to people she loves, a little bit of a conquering hero, maybe even a little bit cocky, right? Without giving too much away. So that's kind of baked into her DNA. At the same time, where Wynonna goes, she brings chaos, right? So the people who are at home have to deal with this whirling dervish of whiskey and donuts who kind of shows up brandishing her gun. They've established a life for themselves there, and then Wynonna shows up with her great hair and her dirty mouth. I mean, so there's conflict in that, but it feels a little more joyful and fun and baked in. Um, but I'm happy at the prospect of maybe like purgatory changing for Wynonna, that maybe in the same way she herself has become something positive and been able to make her own choices about how she's going to live her life. Like maybe this is home for her in a way that has the positive connotations to it, not the negative. Except for the horrible demon she has to face off of. By the way, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Yeah,
As you
little
do.
details.
Yeah,
Those are part of
exactly.
the Easter eggs.
Yeah, 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 whatever. Oh, yeah, there's a horrible demon with incredible hair. Good luck. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, speaking of horrible demons, not that maybe Karen is or not, but she's maybe a horny, horrible demon.
yeah. Well, she said it. She said she was
Yeah.
horny. I was like, I mean, she definitely played it horny. So, sure, I'll go with that. I
Was
mean,
that her take or like
I think it's just Caren Knox. Like Caren
yeah.
Knox,
I know Karen
no,
from
nobody was born to be on Wynonna Earp more than Caren Knox. Like the second she stepped on set, I was like, "Yep, she's Earp. Like the Earpers are gonna love her." She was just so wonderful. I don't want to speak for her, but like I do think she was a fan of the show, and very sweetly, I think when she auditioned, she didn't know it was for Earp, and then when she found out it was Earp, she was so delighted. She's a very established Canadian artist. She's a director and a writer unto her own self. Very talented performer and individual, but it just was so wonderful to cast her for this. It felt like a match made in heaven. And I really think she's a good match for Scrofano. You know, I feel like she gives as good as she gets. So that's going to be entertaining to watch, I hope.
yeah, she's quite formidable.
Yes,
And knowing Karen from like Slow Pitch and
I
other
know.
Canadian series, through like her for Karen doing like the YouTube series as well. Like Karen does a lot of great comedy.
Yeah.
But like the darkness that we're gonna get to see within Vengeance is a delight. Like the way that she plays and with her delivery and the energy between everyone is
I'm
just
so glad you loved her and you saw that. Yeah, she deserves
it's
all
just
her
magic of
flowers.
its own.
Yeah, it is. And it's just like, and it's so fun to bring something new that sparks everybody, sparks the cast, right? So it was awesome. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Pleasure. The way hot of it all as well has always been a really great part of the core of Winona as well. When we left Way Hot, we had a happy ending. We had a wedding. We left them at the homestead. What does this new beginning, in a sense, sort of mean for these newlyweds and the dynamic we get between them as well?
Again, I think like we've all seen a fairy tale ending, and I refuse to apologize for that, especially for two women. You know what I mean? I think that's what made it fresh and so beautiful and so meaningful to so many people. But life takes over. There is a post happily ever after. Somebody gets food poisoning. You got to pay your mortgage, taxes, all that stuff. So I still think there can be romance in that, though, in kind of the domestic life. And there is something to be said, too, that when you find the love of your life, maybe it also allows you, because now you're confident in kind of that area of your life, to explore other adventures or journeys or longings that you wouldn't even allow yourself to hope for or wish for. So I do think that Way Hot are as solid and wonderful as ever, but like many couples, there's some communication challenges. Maybe there's some things they need to talk about that they haven't. But I promise you will find it satisfying. Or you know where to find me if you don't, online. I love getting screamed at. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, you've been traveling around for some time, going to conventions, meeting Earpers internationally, doing online appearances, holding different kind of writing classes. What is maybe one thing or a larger thing, at least, that you kind of take away when you get to be amongst the Earpers when it comes to Winona? What does it kind of signify for you and for the fans still?
That's such a lovely question. I mean, I will try to come at it specifically for me versus the cast. I think just like having these stories in my head that were so crazy and kind of like rocket pace, but also deeply emotional, just to have been able to put them in the world and been embraced by so many people who maybe didn't feel seen in genre before and could see themselves, who recognized what we were doing in this tale of underdogs fighting to define themselves as who they want to be and are meant to be versus who society tells them to be. Like, that's what will never get old for me and what I'll never take for granted is the idea that like I am not alone, that the things, stories I want to tell resonated with so many people, and that all these people have found one another, right? Like now the Earpers have friendships and marriages and kids. And I feel like they're eventually going to be like, can you guys not keep showing up? This is our party. Like, we'll just do it without you guys. So it's so funny. A lot of creators resist this, but I feel like the magic of Earp, which you could never even have hoped for, is we made something but then now it belongs to a whole other group of people. It's theirs, it's the fans, it's the audiences. We all kind of have ownership of it and love for it. And it means something different to all of us. And that is kind of a gift beyond my wildest dreams. I also just feel lucky to be able to go as the writer with all the beautiful people. I feel like I sneak in the back door and I'm standing next to like, hey. So thanks for letting me come along on the journey. That's what I feel like.
It's been a wild, raunchy, rambunctious journey.
Well said. Yeah, yeah. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that. Yeah.
You're the writer,
The
not
three
me.
R's, the three R's. Write that down. Write that down. Yeah.
We're recording. So
Okay, good, good.
but from my heart as an Earper myself as well, all these years getting to watch and witness and see the transformation from the cast to the series and everyone involved, a really heartfelt gratitude for keeping these characters and this series and every iteration that we've gotten to get Wynonna so beautiful and so meaningful for us all, and the community that you've really formed because of this. And that's a part of what you're saying is like why we get to stick together is because of what you do. And not to get
Oh,
a
I'm
little
gonna cry. First tears of the day. Like, Lisa, it's just
but
like I just want to thank you for like I'm gonna cry. Like, thank you for it is so many people fighting for us behind the scenes, so many incredible journalists who like love us and promote us and support us. So thank you for fighting the fight with us and for always having our back and for being there since the beginning. It means the world to me. And listen, I'll tell Earp until I'm done. I'll do Earp Golden Girls if you let me. So, so keep it up. Thank you for saying that. It is such a privilege. You have no idea.
it's my pleasure. I want to see Winona as Sophia sometimes. Like I feel
I
like
know,
they're kindred
seriously. She can
spirits in a
use her
way.
walker to take out somebody, to take out a couple gremlins. I believe in her. Come on. She and Nicole still bickering on the porch. I believe it. In their rocking chairs? Sure.
I'm ready. Sign me up for this.
Okay. Deal. Deal. It's a binding contract with Tubi. That we just got to let them know. Yeah. Thank you for coming to see me today, Lisa.
Thank you, Emily.